All right, Evan, welcome back for the episode of This Week in Charts via Carnival Trades and Wall Street from Main Street. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me on carnivaltrades.com for swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it this week here. So markets again, we talked about this, really, I've talked about it for a couple of months, but more so specifically on my channel recently, essentially don't really want to be short into the election, despite the little decline that we had on the 31st, which was on Thursday of, it was actually Halloween, so a spooky little sell there. But going into the election, again, you got to remember there's a lot of hedges, a lot of event volatility baked into the cake there, and those came off in a big way. And now we've got kind of like this post-election Trump trade going on here where certain things, certain areas are doing very well. We'll definitely talk about crypto in a minute, or, usually when we get to it at the end. But you have certain things like energy starting to get a bid, even as there's the XLE there, even as crude oil has kind of come in a little bit. But they're kind of responding to regulations. There's lots of other sectors here that are kind of moving around here. Small caps certainly the biggest, which we'll get into momentarily here, but right now Spider's having a really good bid. Now it does seem to me that 6,000, we do have options expiring on Friday for the month of November. So 6,000, we hit that whole round number last week, and looks like we're going to close right on it today here. You can see the Spider, S&P Spider, just below the 6 handle, and I think that may be a little bit of a cap here for this week. It's not like anything major, but again, massive squeeze here. And we got a lot of things running. I mean, look at Tesla here. Amazing move. Some of these stocks, some of these like small caps and beaten down names like Upstart. Look at that move last week. FTNT, Carvanas of the world here. These kind of stocks here that have been beaten up lately, they're all starting to get a run. So we're getting these kind of, almost you can make a case dash for trash type action here as small caps continue to outperform. Twofold, due to rate cuts and due to kind of the Trump trade. Actually, I'd say threefold: rate cuts, the Trump trade, and then you have just the event volatility coming off from the FOMC last week as well as the election. Now, the FOMC, that was very interesting. We'll talk about rates as well. How about mortgage rates back above 7%, and this is as of I think last week sometime, but still 7.3, basically 7.4 for mortgage rates, despite the Fed cutting. And actually, we can look back over here. Look at what the yield curve is doing today. By the way, the bond market is closed today. It is Monday, Veterans Day, as I'm doing this video. But even so, yield curve dropping. And we can look at the bond futures here. Yields are up. So 2s, 5s, 10s, 30s up across the board. And look at the yield curve. 2s and 10s are very close to going inverted again. And this is with the Fed cutting. So I don't know. The people are talking about this December cut that's likely priced in. I just don't see it. I don't know how they're going to do that or get away with it. Effective Fed funds now, this should go down to about 4.6, 4.57, probably starting tomorrow when the banks reopen. And that will bring our yellow line down to right around here. So you're about 30 basis points away from being at parity with the 2-year. So that's not something that can continue. The Fed has to be ahead of that curve here, and they have to cap, short-term rates here. But you can see long-term rates still holding up pretty well too. Mortgage rates up as we mentioned. So that's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. And I guess when's this deflation coming that everybody's been talking about? Look at the Dow transports here, just off of all-time highs. We've been talking about this ascending wedge for months and months and months now, and I've been talking about the implications of what would happen if that breaks bull. It has, and you're seeing a very, very nice rally here, really across the board and everything, except really semiconductors, but everything else is kind of catching up. But anyway, right now, I think around 6,000, we'll talk about the other stuff later, but around 6,600 SPYs, probably about it for the week for the general market. It doesn't mean we can't inch higher, but I'm kind of thinking that's probably we're going to close around that area here. It's OPEX week, a lot of options expiring, a lot of premium around that whole round number too. So logically, I think you'd kind of cool off a little bit in that area. Qs here, again, breakout as well, new all-time highs finally. There is a little bit of interest at 520 for the end of the week. So we could see, maybe us get as high as that. And I would say as low as 500. So I think we're kind of just range bound here for this week. And we've had a nice move. We might need to digest it a little bit. Now, small caps are a little bit different. So Russell 2000, again, huge move. I've been telling you guys about this as well. Ascending triangle, higher lows, no problems. Big bull break here. And we caught this move in the summertime. And we caught this one also, still holding a runner position on my Russell trade. And it's been an amazing trade twice this year. And again, we'll get into Bitcoin as well, which I still have runners on also. But the big thing here is this week here, you're coming into an all-time high, or previous all-time high in IWM. I think they will tag that. That's my general lean. I'm not sure if it, maybe it doesn't happen this week. Maybe it happens next week. But I would be really surprised if this doesn't get pierced, by, a little bit, maybe $1 or $2 before we pull back. Maybe even, maybe it goes to 250. I mean, there's really nothing saying. We have a lot of momentum here. And a lot of shorts, a lot of commercial shorts are getting crushed on this. A lot of people were long volatility going into the election, thinking that we were going to get a contest, thinking that the Fed, that Jerome Powell was going to shoot the rally down, and that hasn't been the case. And so you're seeing shorts get really hurt here, specifically in, again, small caps. So I think 245 is a base case. I mean, I'm not saying we go there tomorrow. I'm not saying we go, shoot through it right away, but I do think they'll at least test that. If not this week, then next week. But small caps, obviously the big winners here. Diamond here, we have the Dow through the 440 handle. So if we look at the actual DJI, that's about 44K. So big moves here. SMH is weak today. So it had a rally last week, but look at this. We didn't even take out the high from October. So semi's still soft, and I've been telling you guys about this. Like, why invest in Broadcom, NVIDIA? And fair enough, NVIDIA did break out. TSM is still, near the highs, but you have a lot of stocks at Micron, AMAT, Qualcomm, obviously SMCI with their fraud problems, but plenty of other KLA. A lot of these semis are not doing ASML. They're not doing that well. And what are the sectors I've been telling you to go into for 6 months now, actually about 5 months, is cloud software. And this is on breakout. This is continuing to make new all-time highs. We're above all my targets here, and this is continuing higher. So in technology, it's not about the semis right now. It's about everything else. Even biotech, XBI here, starting to break above this ascending wedge here. So some of these other sectors are starting to catch up to the semiconductors as money rotates. We mentioned the transports here. Again, higher high there. The official all-time high on DJT is 18,246. That was a little bit of a, it's not a fake print, but it's a little bit of a misprint because of the car Avis budget debacle, gamma squeeze back in 2021. If you follow IYT, that is at all-time highs. Rates we talked about a little bit, but I'll just briefly cover the levels. 440 is where I'm expecting the 2-year to go. I don't think it gets through that right now. 5s, I think, can go to about 440 as well, maybe just shy. 10s, maybe getting a little top heavy here, but maybe we could see 455 again, and then 30s again, a little top heavy here as well, but maybe they could see 47, 475. I think that's it for now. But rates have still been firm, and everybody keeps betting against them, and as long as that happens, they're going to keep going up, just like the stocks. So XHB up 32 cents today. Nice recovery. Got to get through 120. Weekly chart is still okay, though. VNQ with a nice rally last week. Again, just flagging inside of this channel. Very textbook. Looks nice and tight. If that breaks bull, we're going a lot higher. XLF, new all-time highs. New all-time closing high. What can you say? Continues up. KRE, also a higher high, nice breakout. That's also helping out small caps, a lot of regional banks in the IWM. And KBE, large bank ETF, all-time high. Broker dealers, you're going to love this one. Take a look at that. 844. What a move here. Now this is, it's parabolic on the weekly and monthly. You can make a case that it is pretty much on the daily as well at this point. So this is on borrowed time. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. these things tend to go on a lot longer than you think, and that's kind of how I'm thinking this rally will play out. And I am starting to see some signs, though, of not just in broker dealers, but in everything, of retail finally coming off the sidelines, and we're seeing a little bit of euphoria start to creep in. Again, just prefacing that by saying this can go on longer than you think, but in due time, there will be, we'll have to pay for this rally here, essentially. But right now, momentum is very strong. All right, oil here, rallying last week a little bit and then kind of rolling over here. So right now, to me, just needs to hold 67. It's fine above that. But definitely a little bit weak. Now, you must imagine, well, XLE must be getting hit. That's not true. XLE is going the opposite direction. So XLE is still strong, XOP strong, OIH strong. Nice move last week for OIH. Why? The implication is deregulation here from the next administration. So again, I tell you all the time, oil doesn't have to go up for XLE to go up. It helps, but it doesn't always, it doesn't always work that way. But these energy stocks I still like. I told you guys that lows are in a month or two ago, and they've continued higher here. XLE gets through, 94, 70, 95. I think it's going back up to the highs. This inverse head and shoulder, it's kind of sloppy, but it's still valid. And look, it played out with the back test, and that would imply, essentially a double top move. Uranium's still a little soft here. CCJ's kind of backed off for the last couple of weeks. It did bounce last week. But, overall, if we look at the weekly, there's no real problems here. It's just a big overbought move, and it needs to work that off. That's really what it comes down to. Same thing with URNN. You want to look for a higher low here. And if it can do that, it'll be just fine. I don't really love the daily right now. It's a little sloppy. Same thing with the NJ. Yep. There we go. You want to see some type of weekly higher low here. But overall, just kind of doing some backing and filling after a really big move. Anyway, Nat Gas, good rally here today. So gap and go. This gapped up. I think there's some talk of production cuts over the weekend. This should rally around this time of the year anyway, and I think it will until probably the end of the month or around that time. So if we can get through $3, let's just look at the Z contract. If we can get through, if we can get through $3, get good volume behind this too. We can get through this area, I think you could see maybe 340 again. Maybe higher, we'll see. Nat gas tends to overshoot, so. Dollar index, man, what a move. This is still going up here again. Another Trump trade here. And look at this X here. So if we zoom out, you're going to see the May 2021 lows, connect that all the way up. And then you got an X marks the spot here with the 2023 high. And you're right into that. So we'll see if that caused the dollar to back off a little bit. This had a massive move off the lows here. But we'll see. I'm thinking it kind of does do some backing and filling here. That's a pretty big level there. At the same time, take a look at gold. This is into an interesting level. So I think the highs are in gold for the foreseeable future. By that, I mean like it could be months. I'm not saying like, years or anything, but, months. And the reason I say that is we've had a big move, right? The last time we had a lower low was October 23, up, sideways. We could just work this off, right, with chop here. We could just chop that and work that off, just like we did right here, right, and just like we did right here. But I do think we need to digest this move at this point. Again, zooming out to the weekly, there's no damage. It's just a good pullback pattern. So I think the highs are probably in for now. And gold needs to digest. I do think it can get a bounce right here, though. If you look at the 4 hour, we had this bear flag here that failed and went higher. That's where the institutions are sitting. Give them some momentum decline here. Look at the RSI as well, higher low there on gold futures, right into a pivot low. So probably get a bounce here on gold. And we'll see. Does it turn into a up and then a lower high and then we retrace steeply? If that's the case, then 25.50 and then 24.50 are your big levels. But otherwise, it could just consolidate sideways and go higher from there. In due time, of course. So nothing goes up in a straight line. And honestly, you want this, right? I said this about silver too. Like you don't want it. You don't want, believe it or not, you don't want it going up to $47 right now. because then it's just going to go down just as fast as it went up. So you want this healthy pullback. You want healthy digestion. Take your time. Take the stairs up. Don't take the elevator up. But silver, maybe doing some backing and filling too. We're back below 31. Not really in love with that. Big picture though, it's fine. I think as long as we can hold 31 on a weekly close, it can still, as long as it's holding this green bar low here, right around 31, I think it's fine on the weekly time frame. But if not, then it may need to do some more backing and filling. Platinum also backing off as well. Let's take a trend line here too. We are kind of just getting through that a little bit. Yeah, so platinum a little bit weak here. And again, this needs to do backing and filling as well, and so does palladium. I did cut my runner positions on Sprott here. So made money on both of those. And looking to get back in, so it's that simple. Palladium tends to go, it tends to go straight up and then straight down, as you can see. But it likes to do this a lot. But I do think the lows are in on that. Copper has been an absolute mess here the last week or so. So we talked about volatility is coming here. We got it, and then look at the move here. Look at these whips. This is a massive whipsaw. What I do when I see this, I just zoom out to the weekly. And as long as you're above the green, so 427 on a weekly close, it's fine. If it closes below that, I'm going to give it a slight bear bias. But I'm not touching that right now. That is way too many whips for me. Then on to Bitcoin. You guys know it. So we've been talking about this pattern for a long time. And look, this is just a bull consolidation pattern. It will break out, and we're going to be seeing, probably 90,000 plus. And we're already at 86.6. It only took a few days here since the breakout. What a move. Even ETH getting a bit. I still don't really love ETH here, but look at Doge. I mean, this Department of Government Efficiency. Okay, so Elon trade. What can you say? Amazing moves here. Polkadot, Litecoin, even XRP betting. I do like Solana a lot. That's new year-to-date highs there. So that looked like it wants 250. Cardano also with a very nice bid as well. So crypto really, and there's countless altcoins that are just ripping right now as well. But yeah, 86. Maybe a little bit of a stall area. 91 to 93 is really like the actual stall area I calculated. That doesn't mean that it's going to stop, by the way. You just consolidated for 7 months. I see people talking about how it's overbought here. How can it be overbought? You just flagged for 7 or 8 months, and now you're just breaking out. So this has space. So keep trailing, runners on this if you have it. Their bears have done nothing to make you get out of this yet. So this is how you make money here in the markets. Don't get rid of positions without a reason. So not to say that you can't, take partials and scale out, take, a little bit of profit, but don't, sell out of this until they give you a reason to. I have it going higher still. Anyway, here, spiders again. Yeah, right at 6,000. I think we'll probably, again, I think the Russell can try for an all-time high here and try and get that out of the way. The RUT exactly, yeah, I mean, it's not far. I mean, it's only 20 points on the RUT. That's like 0.5% probably, something like that, right? It's not that far away. RTY futures, yeah, it's 20 points away. No, it's 10 points away. So it's not that far. We can probably try and do that this week, maybe even tomorrow. Spiders, though, I think are probably mostly capped around 6K. But outside of that, again, don't fight this rally. A lot of people are trying to fight it right now, and I think that's why we keep going higher. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Don't forget to come find Jason on Patreon. Come find me on ConvoTrades.com. See you guys all next week.